Hey, we've got a problem here. What did you do?
Nothing. I stirred the tanks.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a...
And today you have joined me in Rio de Janeiro, and it has all gone a little bit wrong. Today is my last day in Rio, and I had planned a great video for you to see the big three here in Rio: Sugarloaf Mountain, Christ the Redeemer, and Copacabana Beach. The weather forecast was for beautiful, clear, sunny skies, but as you can see, that is not what we have got today here in Rio. But not to worry, I have a plan B. And let's be honest, you've seen all that stuff on TV, you've seen it on YouTube, so today we're going to do something a little bit different, a little bit unique here in Rio. We're going to check out the cultural side of Rio, down here on Guanabara Bay, as recommended to me by my amazing friend Clara, who I've met here in Rio. So, here's what's coming up on this episode of Megatrip. This amazing structure reaching out over the plaza. I mean, this building really is stunning. Welcome to the Human of Tomorrow game. 7 questions, let's see how these goes. Obviously, I'm really into this shit, but just at the top now, and it's a little bit shaky, but I think that's my legs riding the gondola. Through the magic of editing, you now know more than I do what we're going to get up to today. Like I said, you join me in the cultural centre of Rio. Now, this is down by Guanabara Bay in the old port, and we're starting right here at the Museum of Tomorrow. But for now, cue the music. The building itself was designed by Spanish neo-futuristic architect Santiago Calatrava. But you can see as you walk up here, this amazing structure reaching out over the plaza. The entrance here is 30 Brazilian reais. I mean, this building really is stunning. Now, everything I've read online, and in fact the advice I was given, is to buy your ticket in advance. I didn't do that today, and I got away with it. It's actually quite hard, I think, to capture on camera the atmosphere in this place. Very vibey, very exciting. I was hoping to get outside and get the view from the other side of the building, from the bay side. However, as is often the case in Rio, they're getting ready for a party, so that might not be an option. Imagine this place at night, all lit up, with this amazing structure around you on the bay. Super cool around here, loving this. If you're an English speaker like I am, you get a little card when you walk in, and every single exhibit, you can just tap it on there and it will switch to your language. Well, anyway, I've done that and I've come across this funky little games. Welcome to the Human of Tomorrow game. You go on a trip to Mars tonight? Yes. I'll go anywhere, mate. Would you still like to go? Probably not, if I'm honest. I really respect those who would do the one-way trip. Honestly, yeah. Get out of here, you weirdos. Absolutely not. I think I probably am prepared to find out what kind of human I am. Let's see the result. Basic human version 1. Think and choose the most comfortable way out. Hey, maybe that's true, but let's be honest. I don't believe in horoscopes, and that's basically what that is. But a cool little game nonetheless. A really interesting concept here. I'm sat in a little booth in the Museum of Tomorrow, and in this little booth, it invites you to send notes to your past self as well as to your future self. So what did I think of the Museum of Tomorrow? Well, I bloody loved it. This place was fantastic. What a great way to spend an hour or two if the weather's not perfect here in Rio. Obviously, I'm really into this shit, but look, it's good for anyone, there's stuff to see. So the next stop on my cultural tour of Rio de Janeiro is the Museum of Modern Art. Again, recommended to me by a local karaoke by Clara. She said you must come down, it's free. Now, there's a bit of a checkered history of this place. So in 1979, there was a fire started either by a cigarette butt or an electrical fault, and that destroyed about 90% of the artworks that were housed here, including some world famous Picassos. But they've done a lot over the recent years to rebuild that collection. Not only have they rebuilt the collection, they are in fact in the process of renovating. So what's actually happened, dear Mega Tripper, is this. We've come to the Museum of Modern Art. Stunning 50s style building. And yeah, of course it's closed. So we're not going to be going in there. Don't worry, Mega Tripper, I have a plan B. The weather's starting to get a little better in Rio, so I've come back down to the docks area. Again, check out the street art down here. Absolutely amazing. So it's kind of the old and knackered butting alongside the new, the exciting, the vibrant. It really is an amazing city, whatever the weather. So anyway, we've pivoted and hopefully the views will be okay, but we've come to go do this. The Rio Star, or the Yup Star. So this is the biggest Ferris wheel in all of South America, standing 88 meters tall. I'm going to go and have a little ride on this bad boy. Like, the whole thing takes about 20 minutes. Hola. Yeah, I need to buy a ticket. I'm not super busy today, but hopefully that means I'll get my own gondola. All right. Thank you. Into the gondola we go. So I will say it is nicely air conditioned in here. So if you do come on a hot day, that is not a problem. The other thing I would say, I don't really mention a lot over this, I am terrified of heights. So I am looking forward to this, but like anything, I start to twitch a little bit when we go up in the air. I've not made videos on it. I have been up Sugarloaf Mountain. I have been up to the top of Price of Redeemer. They were all good. But then I also did take a helicopter over Rio. Go check out the Apocalypse Rio video if you haven't already. That is absolutely amazing. And in that, you get to see some of the amazing sights that we missed today. Anyway, let's enjoy this little gondola ride above Rio, above the harbour, down here in Rio de Janeiro. What a city. Alright, exit through the gift shop. I'm trying to sell you something. Okay, so that was an awful lot of fun. On the pricey side, I guess, for a Rio de Janeiro attraction. As with a lot of things in Rio, the people, the staff are so friendly, so nice, so smiley. I don't have a lot of English, but hey, I've got bugger all Portuguese, so that is not on them, that is on me. But they are trying to sell you something at every opportunity, if it's pictures, if it's snacks. Do not feel pressured into anything. To get to the next stop on our adventure, I'm taking advantage of this nice walking avenue down by the port. So the reason I wanted to stop here in particular was this wall of street art. I mean, check this one out, for example. So stylized, so impressive, so beautiful. Okay, we didn't get to see the Modern Art Museum, but you know what? For my creative fix, for my artistic fix, this is doing the job really, really well. So culture in Rio isn't all about Ferris wheels, modern art, it's all about the history and about the past. And in this particular instance, the history of enslaved peoples from Africa who make up so much of the culture of Rio, so much of the culture of Brazil. Now behind me is the Valongo Wharf, or what's left of it. Now this place was built in 1811, and this is the wharf where those enslaved people from Africa were brought. So this is a dock building, a warehouse that was built later in the 1800s, at a stage where slavery was still legal. The architect who built this, why he was interesting, was he was a black man. He was descendants of those who had essentially been trafficked over here. And he insisted when building this particular building that he only used free men, free slaves, free Africans. Not the prettiest thing to remember, but I think really important, really critically important. Weirdly, Rio, the population is so diverse, from white faces to brown faces to black faces, and it's really interesting. I've never really seen that racial diversity be yet so homogenous in a city. So maybe there's a good outcome of all that misery, but the misery itself not to be overlooked. Now I think it's time to grab a little refreshment and end this video on what you can do in a slightly cloudy day in Rio de Janeiro. If you are out on a cultural adventure in downtown Rio de Janeiro and you find yourself in want of a refreshment, you can do a lot worse than coming to the Arco de Teles. This little arch leads down onto a building site by the sounds of it. In fact, this house here was inhabited by the very famous Carmen Miranda. Absolutely stunning old streets, full of restaurants, places to eat, drink, traditional food. Okay, so this is what you get in a locals restaurant in downtown Rio. And a nice little plate of sausage and onions, along with my nice bottle of original. Wow, that was absolutely delicious. A plate of sausages with fried onions, fajita, rice, a real nice hearty meal, all along with a large bottle of original. And all of that cost me the princely sum of 50 Brazilian reais. It's about £7 GBP, maybe $9, 8 euros, something like that. Absolute bargain, lovely atmosphere, great food. And I'm reliably informed a little later in the day, perhaps kind of after work time, 4, 5, 6 p.m, they also bust out some live music. So I'm gonna go and try and find a bit of a local market and have a look at that. Let's go. Outside, you can see it's very popular, all the bikes parked up so close to each other. It's almost like you're in Southeast Asia. But anyway, we are at the Mercado Popular Uruguayana. Absolutely no idea what they sell in this place, but let's go have a little look inside and see what they got. So, super glue, pencil cases, clothing, a little bit of everything by the looks of it. Get yourself a Stanley coffee cup. I'm sure they are 100% genuine first copies. Interesting little fact about the Brazilian flag. If you look at it, there is a bunch of stars on the Brazilian flag, all representing the individual states, and then the line through the middle with the motto of Brazil, if you like, on there. And then there's only one star that's above that line and the rest are below. And a lot of people like to think, well, that's the state of Rio de Janeiro. That's like an ego thing, but it's not at all. That's actually representing the state of Para. And the reason is that line is actually the equator, and it's the only state in Brazil which is above the equator. Get your man bags, really useful for carrying your camera around. I've got far too many of those already. Thought in a market like this, I might get a little bit hassled, as you quite often do in these markets. But again, it's one of the reasons why I love Rio as a city. The city doesn't care about you. No one's shouting at me, no one's trying to pull me in. Not yet anyway. And of course, people out with their stalls and their stands. There are loads of markets like this in Rio. Frankly, if you ask one of the street vendors here for anything, if they don't have it, they'll go and find it for you. Not what I'm in the market for. The problem is, I'm at the end of a 6-week trip, and I've done my 6-week trip travelling just on hand baggage because, you know, my life's too short for anything else. But the one thing I probably do need, actually, is a vest. Let's see if they have a Grande. 130, that is about 20 quid. 60, so this guy's basically telling me, ignore the prices, they're half of what they are on the label, whether they've been purloined somewhere. But hey, I'll take the bargain. Got my little purchase here in the market. The one thing I did actually need I'm gonna wear that on my journey home for a little bit. There's a nice inside section as well where you can get literally whatever you need. Knives, stun guns, and also your head shop if you need papers or, you know, you like smoking your tobacco through a water pipe. Interesting fact actually, I think the day I arrived in Rio was the day after they decriminalised marijuana here. Completely unrelated. Anyway, I think that is it for me in this market. That's it for my little cultural adventure. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of an idea. If you get stymied by the weather and you want to do some slightly different, slightly cool stuff, there's plenty to do here in Rio de Janeiro.